Forum for Islamic Education and Welfare is a non-governmental Islamic organization in the forefront of propagating Islam and care for the indigent, with special preference for education and empowerment. The special focus is to enrich the Islamic knowledge and contribute members' modest quota to the development of education and welfare of the Muslim Ummah in order to earn the favors of Almighty Allah. In the area of enlightenment and educating the Muslim Ummah, the forum holds monthly meeting on relevant Islamic topics for members and invited guests, while the quarterly meeting is an expanded one for more guests and family members to benefit from such in a breakfast session with choice meals at exotic venues. One of such quarterly meetings was held on Sunday, the 1st of December 2019 at the exotic Radisson Hotel, Ikeja. The event commenced in earnest with the opening prayer, preached by the Amir, Alhaji MF Lawal, and other preliminary activities while guests arrived to settle down with the sumptuous breakfast that was being provided.
We thank Almighty Allah who has made today possible for us. We beseech Him to continue to answer our prayer, to guide us, to be with us, and to continue to strengthen our forum that has dedicated itself to the enlightenment of humanity.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم في الدنيا والآخرة ويسألونك عن اليتامى قل إصلاح لهم خير وإن تخالطوهم فإخوانكم والله يعلم المفسد من المصلح ولو شاء الله لأعنتكم إن الله عزيز Hakeem.
Number one challenge we have, because I don't want to talk about our achievements, we will not live here, but I want to present our major challenge. We've committed almost 30 million naira to a site in Lekki Peninsula Phase 2. We've been at it for close to 17 years, and up to now, we have not been able to point to our spot. This is where we're going to put our Islamic center, aimed at promoting Islam in Lagos State. Not to promote individuals, but to provide platform for our youth and for Muslim dignitaries and the downtrodden to host their programs as far as Islam is concerned.
This was closely followed with the main item of the day, with Dr. AbdulLateef delivering the all-important lecture on the topic, Interreligious Marriage in Nigeria, Dilemma of Parents and Intending Couples.
Interreligious marriage in Nigeria, dilemma of the Muslim parents and the intending couples. I want us to begin by setting some ground rules. One of which is, if we play with some of the alphabets, we find it very easy to resolve many of our challenges. The first alphabet we're going to deal with is letter D. And what is D? We refer to the 3 Ds of our life. When it is well set, then our problems will have been resolved. The first D is, for everything you want to do, you need to know your destination. You need to know your destination. And the second D is the direction to the destination. While the third D is the drive or the determination that will get you to your destination. Which means that if your destination is Radisson Hotel this morning, then of course you take only the direction to Radisson. And then you'll be determined to set out on time to arrive at your destination. Which means that if somebody is coming to Radisson but decided to face Ibadan, definitely he has the destination but the direction has not been followed. Which means that as believers, what is our destination? And our destination is not different from what Allah has set. The only reason I have created you is to worship me. Allah says, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. The only reason you have been created is to serve Allah, which means your destination should be the attainment of the pleasure of Allah. If that is the destination, the next thing is, what is the direction towards this destination? Allah says in Quran chapter 20 verse 123, just as there is no manufacturer that will not assist the users with a guide. There is no manufacturer of a product that will not assist the users with a guide. And the essence of the guide is just like when you go to the pharmacy and you pick a piece of drug, you see a leaflet that accompanies that drug. It tells you so many things that you will never be able to comprehend without brief explanation by the manufacturer. It tells you the name of the product. It tells you the composition of the product. It tells you the usage. It tells you the warnings. It tells you the date it was manufactured and likely the day that it will expire. Only those who comply with the prescription of the manufacturer will be happy to benefit from that product. Any other attempt to use our free will to use the same product will end up in a very negative manner. What am I saying? Allah says in Quran chapter 20, verse 123 to 125, Allah resolves our challenges. Quran chapter 20, Surah to Taha, verse 123 to 125. Allah says, the world is my product. You know what? Go to the world. I will send from me to you the guidance. Whoever follows the guidance, فَلَا يَدِلُّ وَلَا يَشْقَى. They will never be misled and they will never be miserable in their lives. Whoever follows the product, the guidance. Because if I ask you, my fathers, my mothers, to describe somebody who picked the same piece of product and decided to tear away the leaflet that accompanies it, the direction, it decided to set it on fire. He said it has nothing to do with it, and is now holding the bottle and saying that with my experience, I should be able to understand the content. All of us will say it needs the attention of a psychiatrist, immediately, because something must be wrong with you. Allah says, "Ala ya'lam man khalaqa." Does he not know he who creates? Only the creator of a thing knows about that thing. So and Allah says in verse 125, anybody who throws away that guidance, وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكًا. Such a person will live a narrow life. Such a person will live a miserable life. What that means is that if you have challenges in your life, you need to find out there are two strange sources and very familiar sources. There is a difference between destiny. Because destiny is Allah's induced trials. That's what is called destiny. You didn't create yourself as a man or a woman. So the challenges of being a woman, they are Allah's induced challenges. You did not choose your mother. Allah chose your mother for you. You did not choose your father. You did not choose your tribe. You did not choose several things. So whatever challenges naturally come with those descriptions, they are Allah's induced challenges. Or when you have natural disasters and what have you. Or someone, found himself to be somebody suffering from sickle cell anemia or whatever. You didn't create it. So that is Allah's induced. But those who believe in destiny wrongfully, they erroneously believe that everything that happened to you is a destiny. It's a lie. And Allah will not take it from us. There's a difference between Allah's induced trials and self-induced trials. We must understand the fundamentals. For example, you have been asked to drink and you drink water and then you get home safely. And you have been forbidden from taking alcohol and you took alcohol and you slept inside the gutter. Somebody woke you up and you said that's how Allah wants it. Definitely you know that you have brought this upon yourself. So if you can get the dichotomy, the difference between Allah's induced trials and our own self-induced trials, then we will have gotten it. What did Allah say about his own? In respect of trials that are created by Allah. Because Allah knows. In fact, everything is a trial as far as Allah is concerned. In Yoruba land, if we say, Allah Majara Dawaah, what are we going to say? Everybody will say, Amen. Very beautiful prayer. In fact, it's so rhetoric. How can you mention a Dawaah and not expect Amen immediately? Meanwhile, Allah says, what is the definition of trial? Innama amwalukum wa auladukum trials. Fitna. Do you know that even your children and your wealth are also trials? Are you indirectly saying you don't want children? Are you indirectly saying you don't want wealth? So in Quran 21 verse 35, you can write it, that is not here. Quran 21 verse 35, Allah now defines trials. Allah now says, Kullu nafsin za'iqatul maut. Every soul will taste death. Wanabulukum, I will test you. Quran 21 verse 35. Quran 21 verse 35. I will test you bisharri, with what you consider as evil, wal khairi, and what you celebrate as good. Fitnatan, both are trials. So the question is not Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ ara dánwò. The issue is Ọlọ́run jẹ́ aborí àdánwò. Jẹ́ ká yege àdánwò. So that when you are afflicted by any trial, your challenge is, how do I overcome my trial? The beauty of the religion is that there is no trial that the resolution or the solution to it is not in the Quran. We have played with letter D. Can you remind me? What are the 3 D's of life? Destination, direction, and determination. There is no one who will use this in his or her business and will not succeed. Just be determined. Just know your destination. Be focused. Follow that direction, and then have the drive. The next we are going to operate with is the 3 E's. The 3 E's of rationality paradox. E for education. E for experience. And E for exposure. Employers of labor are here seated. These are the 3 things that are being tested when somebody sits in front of them. You may have all the certificates. Maybe it comes under education. They want to know, do you have experience about what you're talking about? And the next thing is, what's your exposure? If this is how it is done in Nigeria, how is it done in India? How is it done in other climes? Those who succeed in life, even as Muslims or believers, they need these 3. You need education. Islam does not joke with education. Most of our challenges, anyway, that's why when you hear somebody say book is haram, Boko Haram, they're not Muslims. Ab initio, immediately. The moment you say book is unlawful, you are not part of Muslims. Because talab al-ilm faridatun ala kulli muslimin wa muslim. Seeking for knowledge is compulsory upon all believers, male or female. So Islam wants us to seek Islamic knowledge and contemporary knowledge. So, experience is what you have in the Quran. Whatever will happen to you, Allah is going to give you the experience of those who came before you. We are all middlemen. What's the meaning? There is nothing that is happening to you that you'll be the first to witness it. And you are not going to be the last. So why don't you benefit from the experience of those who have had it? That's why the Quran is divided into 3. One part of the Quran talks about faith. The second part of the Quran talks about acts of worship. And the third part of the Quran talk about the experiences of those who came before you. And they are broadly divided into 2. Those who walk the path of faith. That's why in Surah Al-Fatiha you end up with what? Allahumma idina siratal mustaqim, siratal ladina an'amta alayhim, ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. You say, Allah, grant us the knowledge of the path followed by those who obtained your favors. What did they do? Guide us. Let's know what they did. We do not want the part of those who incurred your wrath. So it is an answer to that. In some verses you say Allah will tell you those who came before you, they did this. Like the verse on Ramadan. It will tell you, we have made fasting prescribed upon you compulsory, as it was made compulsory on those who came before you. So that you can walk the path of righteousness which they tread now. So, and of course, exposure is what we obtain among ourselves. Say, why don't you learn from yourselves? So Allah loves the obtaining knowledge from one another. May Allah make it easy for us. And lastly, the letter P, which we all know, which is the 5 P's. They are very popular. Prior preparation prevents poor performance. Prior or proper preparation prevents poor poor performance. Whatever you are embarking upon, try and practice it very well. Even if you are going to deliver a speech, lock yourself in the room and listen to yourself and do a lot of things, So prior preparation prevents poor performance, which means that our children, when they are enriched with knowledge before they go into anything, it will assist them better than those who just decided to go into it as gamblers. So let us go into the wordings of this lecture. Interreligious marriage in Nigeria. Dilemma of the Muslim parents and intending couples. So I'm going to deal with the word dilemma. The word dilemma is more problematic than problem. So when you say dilemma means you are faced with a difficult situation. You have a tough choice to make. And the two alternatives are not favorable. This is the definition of dilemma. When for example, if you have two alternatives, one is halal, one is haram, that is not a dilemma. You follow the one that is lawful and you leave the one that is haram. When you have challenges and the two alternatives are not favorable, then that is a dilemma. In management, some countries have simple problems, some countries have complex problems, but some countries have what is described as a wicked problem. I'm sure you know which one Nigeria falls into. Because a wicked problem is a problem which, whenever you intend to solve it, you create another problem. So it's a dilemma. What is the dilemma of the couple, the Muslim or the Muslim parent? You have, your son is married to somebody who is not a Muslim, or your daughter is married to somebody who is not a Muslim. Now, you thought you could risk it because you set some rules for them and it was agreed upon. Then they've given birth to children. Then the next minute, you realize that even your own child is abandoning the religion because of the influences of the partner. So the question is, should they divorce? That's why being a dilemma is the correct word. Okay, if I ask them to get separated, they said divorce is what Allah hates most among the lawful things. Because a single divorce touches the throne of Allah. Divorce, it touches the throne of Allah. Do you know why? If you look at the experience around us, in America, 1,000 criminals were brought together and they were investigated. And they discovered that 95% of them are from broken homes. Which means that it's a dilemma. Should they divorce? Or should he continue to mislead my child? It's a dilemma.
The erudite scholar, Iyekpe as he is popularly called, was well appreciated by members and invited guests. The well-delivered lecture elicited some comments and the feedback was well captured with the interaction of guests with the AIMS media crew.
It's not limiting marriage or Muslim marriage to just Muslim women alone. And child upbringing and pregnancy and all, it has also cleared the air on how one should act or behave towards having children and things you should avoid. Most importantly, knowing your genotype and all. It's been an eye-opener and it has cleared so many doubts.
We must believe that Allah is Allah, is the only creator we have, and we shouldn't be swayed by the challenges we are facing in Nigeria. We should try to make our country a better place by being true, good Muslims. Islam is a simple and beautiful religion. If we can live by it, we will not have problems in this country.
We have to follow the tenets of Islam. And by following the tenets of Islam, you know how to relate with your fellow Muslims and non-Muslims alike. And I can tell you, if you follow the tenets of Islam, then there's nowhere you will see the issue of violence, the issue of not according not giving non-Muslims their due respect. You can never find it there. So if you're a true Muslim, I can assure you that you have this. You will live, if you live a life of a true Muslim, then certainly this whole world become peaceful for everybody to live in. And so all these issues that the people who do not understand what Islam is all about, wanting to relate it or give Islam a bad name, it has nothing to do with Islam. You see that they are doing it out of ignorance or out of mischief. So the best thing to do is for Muslims to know what their religion is, and even for non-Muslims to come and understand what Islam is all about.
They should not be discouraged. Even if their child did not bring a Muslim partner, I believe everything good comes from Allah. Because even from the other religion, something good might still come. It might be the reaction and all that taking place in the home that make the other partner to switch over and become a Muslim. So it's only God that does everything, just like we've been told here. Everything comes from Allah.
For us to teach our children and to reorientate them right from the beginning, that to bring up the community economically, politically, and socially, we must right from the beginning expose them to the tenet of Islam.
We live in a heterogeneous society. We need to cohabit. We need to live harmoniously. We need to appreciate one another. And I think, more importantly, we need to be patient. We need to be firm about our faith and to be able to espouse all the teachings of Islam so as to attract people from the other faith instead of we condemning ourselves.
To abide by the dictates of Allah in the Quran and the Sunnah of the Rasulullah. If we have understanding, as the lecturer said, people would know what is right for them to do. And for those who have made mistake earlier, they will know how to correct it. It's not the end of the road.
To live a life of Islam, you must enter into Islam fully, which means that you must accept Islam and your partner must accept Islam. And that is what gives both of you the ability to be raised together as couples on the day of judgment and to be able to use the law of Allah. The Muslim Ummah, the organizations, everybody should be involved in helping people to identify partners. It's not something to be left in the hands of the girl or the boy. All of us should be united on it.
We wish the Forum for Islamic Education and Welfare more successes in future as they continue to lend a voice to contemporary issues to the benefit of the Muslim Ummah and the humanity.